Looking for a great place for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Try the Harbor Cove Cafe, located in the beautiful Ventura Harbor. This remarkable gem is locally owned and operated, and serves a wide selection of breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites. Plus a full espresso bar and delightful tropical libations mixed up by our own Dr. Shocker. Visit them online at harborcovecafe.net or give them a call at 805-658-1639. Harbor Cove Cafe, located at 1867 Spinnaker Drive in Ventura Harbor. With their delicious food and amazing beverages, the Harbor Cove Cafe is Ventura County's hidden treasure. But now you know where to find it.
Now it's time for Backseat Mogul with Scott. He talks about showbiz because showbiz won't talk about him.
Showbiz is a cruel and shallow money trench. A long plastic hallway where thieves and pimps run free and good men die like dogs for no good reason. There's also a bad side.
This is the Backseat Mogul Show live here on Rough Edge FM. I am R. Scott Bolton. I am the Backseat Mogul, and this is the show where we talk about show business. I started the camera a little early today so you guys could all enjoy Johnny D rocking out to the sounds of Slam Alice.
I got dizzy.
I bet you did.
Every time I say this, I love that riff. God, it's so good.
It is a good riff. I mean, there's no question about it, but you might, be overdoing it just a tad.
Hey, at my age, everything I do is overdoing it.
That's also probably true. As everybody knows, the news is kind of tough out there because of the strikes and what have you. There's not a whole lot of announcements and things going on.
Can I say something?
John's going to say something, though.
Yeah, I have to because it's my notes. I have to do it in order. That's a good breakfast. Okay, we can go on.
You don't have to say that every time.
Oh, yeah.
You don't.
I wrote it down.
I know. It doesn't need to be done. The world doesn't need to know that we have McDonald's every morning before the Backseat Mogul Show.
It's not just McDonald's. Sometimes it's typically Jack in the Box tacos.
Yeah, the tacos are good too.
And then occasionally we might get something we have to throw in the microwave. Those Jimmy Dean bowls were good.
This is a very embarrassing conversation, but it's all true. Anyway, because there's not a lot of news because of the strikes and what have you, I thought I'd start doing some list shows. So I can't believe we haven't done this show with me being a best-selling author, excuse me, in the room. I'm sorry. One sec. Got to get rid of that frog. But we've never... What? It's been 30 seconds and you're interrupting again?
Yes, I have to. On Amazon.com, if you have Amazon Prime, you're going to get
the wrong time.
Free. But you brought up when you said author.
There's a point.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead. I got to clear my throat again.
Okay. R. Scott Bolton books on Amazon.com. With Amazon Prime, you get free delivery. And remember, Halloween is coming up. So, Death and the Mogul is R. Scott Bolton's latest book. It is fantastic. You must get it. Please do. And I tell you what, I will practically, notice I said practically, guarantee that R. Scott Bolton, affectionately known as Scotty or Scotty B, will autograph your copy. That is if you get a hard copy. Now you can get, I do believe...
He means paperback.
Yeah, paperback. You can get, can you not get a Kindle type?
Oh yeah, all my books are available through Kindle. Absolutely. And I will autograph your Kindle screen. I've seen people do it.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of weird, but I've seen people do it.
It is weird. Anyway.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to pay for your Kindle afterwards. Why don't you sign my... You told me to.
Yeah, well, that's true, too. And the fact that Halloween is coming up at the end of October, there's also what's available on Amazon.com is Neath.
Yeah, I got to start advertising that again. It's the Halloween season. Yeah.
And then there's Dead Dick.
Tom Spence just finished Neath. And he said that he really enjoyed it. He said he was surprised by the ending. I said, yeah, that's what you're supposed to be. So Neath is my haunted house book, by the way. great October reading. And yeah, you're right, Johnny. October's just around the corner, so it's time to start getting Neath back out there to folks. So
and also, if you're in Santa Paula, Bank of Books on Main Street in Santa Paula, you can get Death and the Mogul.
And maybe Neath. There were copies that last time I was there. I don't know what they've sold, but I know they've sold some because they've called me to ask me how much to charge.
So sweet.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So back to that because of all that.
Well, you brought it. Go ahead.
Yes. I am a voracious reader. It looks like I'm going to finish about 60 books this year, and I'm loving it. I learned that books, not only do I love reading, but reading a lot helps me with my writing. So, of course, I tend to read a lot. Johnny is also a pretty, I don't want to say voracious reader, but you read, what, 10 books a year maybe?
There for a time I was doing more than that.
Because today, John.
Today,
we don't need a history again.
Probably. And I've got to pick it back up. The Jimmy Stewart story of when he was in the military.
Yeah, you've been talking about that for months.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
So pick it back up.
I will. And, I'm really surprised that, he's been gone for quite some time now, but I'm really surprised there has not been a movie, especially about his career in the military.
Those aren't the people they're making movies about these days. They're making more modern people, like George Foreman, for example, is probably about as old as you're going to get.
Which I do want to see that because
I'd like to see it too. I did not hear good things about it though.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
because I was a big, still am of his. I'm not a boxing fan, but something about George Foreman.
He was just a funny guy.
Oh,
in more ways than one.
Yeah. And this is a guy that he would knock you out with body punches.
Oh yeah, he had one of the most tremendous punches of anybody. I love his comment one time. Somebody was interviewing him, and they asked him how come he knocks out so many of his opponents before the end of the fight, and George said, "Well, it's like this. I don't get to eat dinner until after the fight. So at this moment, that guy is the only thing between me and a cheeseburger." So he would, that was, there was always a comment about who would win in a fight, Tyson or Foreman. And we never got to see that fight. And of course, this is Tyson at his peak because there was some bad times after that. But my money was always on Foreman because Tyson has a powerful punches too. But the difference is Foreman can take a punch.
Yeah.
Tyson can't. If you get a good punch in on Tyson, you hurt him.
Yeah.
And most people didn't get a chance to get a punch in on Tyson because he knocked him out in the first 30 seconds of the fight. Foreman could have took that punch. And I don't think that Tyson could have taken Foreman's punch. That's just my theory. We'll never know, which is too bad. I'm sure there's video games where they play each other all the time, but even it's not real. I would have liked to have known at their peak who would have done that. And my money is on Foreman. I think it would have been Foreman. But I'm not a boxing big. I was big into boxing when Tyson was big, and because it was wonderful to pay $78 for a pay-per-view and watch 30 seconds of a fight. But it was exciting, and then it got unexciting when he started to decline, and that's unfortunate. But anyway.
Another great boxer was one of the greatest.
This is going to be a boxing show now.
Oh no,
it's not the top 10 boxing shows of all time.
Cassius Clay, aka Muhammad Ali.
Yes. Probably the greatest of all time.
Oh,
yeah. Let's just be honest. Probably the greatest of all time.
And yeah, like I said, I was never a boxing fan, but you got to give props that are due.
I think real boxing fans don't focus on heavyweight fights like the rest of the world does. Real boxing fans want to watch the welterweight and what have you, the lightweight, because those are furious. Those fights are vicious. I was never into those, and I was only into the heavyweight because I'm just a standard guy, and it was what it was. So, and that's where all the money was too, by the way, because of television and what have you. This is not a boxing show, though. John turned it into. How did we get? It's like driving with John. All of a sudden, he just slams on the brakes and turns the corner and goes a different way. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad
we're going to have to play this show back so I can figure out why did we go that way. Anyway, you're back to the strike. Oh, that's why. Because in boxing, they strike at you. The writers and actors are on strike.
I'm sure that's what it was. No, today's show is about the best movies based on books. And I have the top 10 movies here according to theuncorkedlibrarian.com. I thought that would seem like an appropriate place to get this information. And off the top of your head, Johnny, can you think of a movie based on a book that you really like, or that might have even been better than the book?
That's hard for me to say. I really enjoyed the book, Interview with the Vampire, and I gotta admit, I enjoyed the movie.
Cannot believe that you didn't start with the right book. I threw that question out to you knowing the answer, and then you misspoke.
No. I'm coming to that, and I know where you're going.
No, you do now.
The Hunt for Red October.
No.
Well, really? I never read the book To Kill a Mockingbird.
You didn't?
No, that's where you were going.
That's where I was going.
Yeah, I never read it.
What is wrong with you? It's your favorite movie of all time, one of the greatest books ever written, and you've read Hunt for Red October. Good book, don't get me wrong, but you haven't read To Kill a Mockingbird? You need to remedy that. Put down that Jimmy Stewart book and pick up To Kill a Mockingbird.
Well, I got to buy it first.
It's okay, you can buy it anywhere. I've seen, there's like 3 copies at the thrift store over here.
Really?
Yes.
Which thrift store?
The one over by Grocery Outlet.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Well, you know now.
I guess I have to go by there today.
We're gonna stop the show now, and John's gonna go get that book because I'm embarrassed that he hasn't done this. So we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. Not really. Stop that.
I was running down the stairs.
With your knuckles? What are you, an ape?
Okay, it'd be this way.
Still your knuckles.
It's my bad leg.
Still your knuckles.
All right. No, seriously, but I do have the follow-up to that book. I forgot what the title.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy about that. But
she only wrote
to Watchmen.
2 books. Yeah, come to Watchmen.
Did she? There's a lot of you need to do some research on that. I have it too, and I haven't read it myself yet. I will read it just for historic purposes, but there's a lot of question about that book published. That book's publishing, so that's Comes to Watchmen by Harper Lee. Anyway, yeah, I thought for sure you'd read To Kill a Mockingbird. I'm stunned that you haven't. So Hunt for Red October is a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. What else? What was the other one you were mentioning?
Interview with the Vampire. I quite enjoyed that book.
Yeah, I still don't. You know, I read Interview for the Vampire for the first time last year, and I don't get it now. Because the Lestat is such a legendary, beloved character, and he's a jerk.
Oh yeah,
he's a horrible thing. Can't call him a person because he's a vampire.
Well, he was a person before he became a vampire.
I need to re-see the movie to see if he's as much a jerk in the movie as he is in the book.
Well,
but he's a horrible thing in the book.
I have mentioned this before. We've talked about it before. When they cast Tom Cruise as the vampire Lestat, not only I, but a lot of people who really, really enjoyed the book were upset that they cast Tom Cruise as the vampire Lestat, especially when Anne Rice described Lestat in the book. And she is describing Rutger Hauer because she originally would have liked to have had him play that part. Well, with that being said, I thought Tom Cruise did a fantastic job.
And so did Anne Rice. When she saw the movie, she was very pleased with Tom Cruise's performance. Same thing happened with Tom Cruise when he played Reacher. Tom Cruise is not Jack Reacher. He's just not. Jack Reacher's almost, 6.5 feet tall.
Well, look at the TV show.
Weighs 300 pounds, or not 300 pounds, 250, and has hands like fists. That's not Tom Cruise.
No. He doesn't have hands like fists. He has hands.
He does have hands like fists. You were wrong, but he has fists like hams.
Yes. If hams had fists, that's what they would look like.
Yes. He that's not Tom Cruise. But Tom Cruise captured the essence of Jack Reacher perfectly. So those movies that he did, the 2 Jack Reacher movies, they're not bad movies. They're pretty good movies. They did much better with the TV series, I agree. But
which I can't wait for the next season.
They say December, but there's no set date yet.
Well, the last I heard, not until after the first of the year.
Yeah, see, it's that nobody really knows for sure. So
but then again, with I don't know how much they've got filmed, if that's in the can, if they have any. But then again, you got the strike going on, so who knows when we're going to see
I think it's done. I think it's complete. But they're just waiting to... And they have to be careful how they schedule it because they may not have a whole lot of programming. So, and speaking of which, the Jack Reacher series and the Jack Reacher movies based on books by Lee Child, who is probably my favorite author right now. His thrillers are so complex, so packed with action, and Jack Reacher is such a compelling character that I love them. They're literally my favorite books right now.
There is a Clint Eastwood movie that the book was written after the movie came out.
That's not the same thing. We're not talking about that.
I know
that happens all the time. They're called novelizations. So what's your point? And it's not going to be a good one. This happens all the time, folks.
Well, no. The only reason I'm bringing that is because we were talking about books made into movies. Well, this is a movie that was actually made into a book. And I got to tell you, I enjoyed the book, but I enjoyed the movie a lot more.
Okay, but that doesn't count because it's novelization based on the screenplay. We're not talking about those today. But that being said, I used to read those as a kid. Those were my go-to books. I would read the novelizations of movies. And the thing I discovered that was kind of fun, and this still happens if you can find a novelization these days, sometimes there's something in the book that was in the original screenplay but got cut. But it's still in the book, and that's kind of fun to run across those kind of things.
I mean, well, Hunt for Red October. I thought that was a really good movie.
Now you're confusing things again because the Hunt for Red October was based on the book.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Welcome to the show.
I was writing notes.
This is what I've got. Well, you just were talking about movies being made into books, and then you turn a corner again.
And if anybody's interested, that Clint Eastwood movie is called Firefox.
Nobody was.
Well, I was.
Firefox?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Firefox was a novel before it was a movie.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. Firefox was written by Craig Thomas and published in 1977. When was the Clint Eastwood movie?
Oh, I guess I stand corrected. 82.
Okay. See?
Well, I stand corrected because I could have swore that I had read that the
so
book
Firefox
came out
not a
after,
novelization, just in case.
I thoroughly enjoyed both.
You read the book too?
Yeah.
Wow, the book was pretty good.
Yeah.
The movie is kind of silly.
Oh yeah, but I enjoyed it.
I'm glad you did. Yeah, that doesn't make it a good movie. Most of the time, it does. Doesn't always.
I mean, look at all the movies that came out about Dracula,
based on a book, but not. I mean, how many of them? The new movie, The Last Voyage of the Demeter, is based on the original Bram Stoker book. A chapter,
yes,
of the original Bram Stoker book.
And then look at all the Sherlock Holmes movies that are based on the books, the stories.
Yes. Yeah, I mean that's the kind of thing out there. The one that comes to my mind is a movie that's better than the book is Fight Club, and I've had discussions with people about this, and a lot of people disagree. The book is it's brilliant in its own way, but it's I don't know, it's spiky or something about it that bothered me. The movie is perfect. The movie is awesome.
I never read the book, but I enjoy. What's the first rule of Fight Club?
Don't hit below the belt.
Don't talk about.
I know
Fight
everybody
Club.
knows that, John.
Well, now they do.
Well, yeah. So, spoiler alert: you ruined the movie for half the people.
How long's the movie been out?
Like 16 years.
Okay, but you know the movie I would love. I would kill. Okay, I wouldn't kill. I would really like to see, based on a book, which hopefully I'll get to see that before I die. I might have to do it in my second life, my third, fourth, my. How many times have I been alive?
Too damn many.
Oh, that's true. Is Dead Dick.
Yeah, Dead Dick needs to be a movie. Spielberg, call me.
That would be such a good movie.
It would be a good movie. It'd be a great movie.
So would Neath.
It's got demons. It's got blood. It's got action. It's got nuns with guns. Come on.
It's got nuns on a motorcycle.
You got nuns on a motorcycle. Why? Who wouldn't buy that?
Yeah.
And that was a fun book to write.
Really, really bitchin' ride. His car.
It does. Yeah. That's what he asked for. That's what he got. All right. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the top 10 movies based on books. And again, this is from the website, the uncorkedlibrarian.com. And there were other places, other lists, and the lists were all different, by the way. But I thought, what better site to get this from than a book site rather than a movie site? For the reason that John says, he hasn't even read To Kill a Mockingbird. I almost said Tequila Mockingbird, which is a cocktail.
That Tequila Mockingbird is a cocktail?
You've never heard of that?
No, I've heard Tequila Sunrise, but I've never heard of a Tequila Mockingbird.
Recipe. A Tequila Mockingbird is, I'm looking for the recipe. Here we are. 1 slice jalapeno, 3 watermelon cubes, each about 1 inch cubed, 2 ounces Blanco tequila, 3/4 ounces of lime juice freshly squeezed, and 3/4 ounces of agave syrup.
Oh, I'm there.
Except for the watermelon thing, I might like it. I've never had
That's
one.
right. You don't like watermelon.
I don't. You know what, though? I don't mind watermelon flavor, like in a drink or something like that, or a soda. I just don't like eating watermelon. I know it's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Yeah, well, your wife's the same way.
No, she doesn't like watermelon. Of course, you can't use her as a guide because she has the strangest taste of any human being on the planet.
She doesn't like bananas either.
She eats a hamburger, and if the meat sticks out past the bun, she has to peel it off. She can't have it. Which is good for the dogs.
Oh, yeah. You know, your wife kind of reminds me of this guy I used to know. And the reason I say I used to know, honestly, I don't know if Richard is still with us.
You better not say they have whiskers.
No.
Okay, I didn't know.
Although I did see, I'm not sure if it was a woman the other day or not. Anyway, Richard's wife, when she would sneeze, first she would say, "Achoo," and then she would sneeze. I kid you not. The first time I heard her do that, first time I saw her do that, I looked at Richard and he goes, "Yeah, I know." It just cracks me up. So every time I see someone sneeze, I think of
achoo.
Yeah, achoo, and then sneeze.
Yeah, people sneeze. My sneezes have gone from normal sneezes to the kind of sneeze where my wife always has to ask me afterwards, "Are you okay?" Because I sneeze. So it's probably what's going to kill me. I'm pretty convinced that I'm going to sneeze one day and it's going to kill me because they're violent. And I don't know why that changed, but they have.
How many sneezes? What's your record for sneezes in a row?
I haven't kept a record of sneezes in a row, John. That's just weird.
Well,
I know you know yours.
Yeah. 16. Oh, it's got to be some type of an allergy.
If you have a diary and you know how many sneezes in a row is your record, please write to us at roughedgestudios@gmail.com. That's roughedgestudios@gmail.com, because I never even thought about keeping track of that.
Well, you know, the thing is, like, when you sneeze and you do 3 in a row, and then next thing you know, you're doing 5, and you go, wait a minute, how many am I doing
Wait a minute,
now?
maybe I should count these.
And there was this one time, I kid you not, I did 16 in a row. It's like, oh my God, I'm surprised I'm still alive. I know you.
I'm surprised you're still alive too.
And not
especially
just because
when it comes
of
stories like that. All right, so we got half the show left, and we haven't even started our top 10.
Top 10. Go ahead.
Yeah, but we have to talk about each top 10.
Go ahead.
So number 10 would make my son's girlfriend, Andrea, very happy. It's The Princess Diaries from 2001. And here's what it says about this on the Uncorked Librarian. Of all the things that could have ruined Maya Thermopolis' life, discovering she's actually a princess and next in line to the throne of a small, wealthy European nation hadn't even crossed her mind. Now, there's a number of these books out there already. There's a number of these books that have been popular. I think there's 2 or 3 movies, if I'm not mistaken, which have all been pretty popular. I've never seen one. I mean, again, it's probably like Barbie. It's probably not meant for me. I'm not the audience they were looking for. Not that I wouldn't watch it if I had the opportunity, just that I haven't. I'm sure you haven't seen it either.
No, I actually saw the first one.
Did you?
Yeah.
And?
It was funny. I mean, it had a really good cast. Hector Elizondo was in it. Julie Andrews is in it. And then, of course, the princess is played by Hathaway.
Yeah, Anne Hathaway. I remember that.
Yeah.
They say that the book had some grittier elements in it that didn't make it into the movie. Well, I think that's the spirit of the movie. The spirit, as far as I'm aware, the movie was basically a happy movie, not exploring the grittier aspects. So, number 10 best movie based on a book is The Princess Diaries. Number 9, we've got The Devil Wears Prada from 2006.
Never read it, never saw it.
Didn't read it, did see it. I enjoyed that movie. Some great performances in that movie. Another Anne Hathaway film for that point. Maybe these are all Anne Hathaway movies based on books.
And isn't that also, yeah.
Meryl Streep.
Thank you.
Emily Blunt. Stanley Tucci.
And I'm a big fan of Stanley Tucci.
It's a fun movie. It's one of those movies that, and the novel was 2003, by the way. It's one of those movies that my wife said, we should go see this. And she's usually right. Not always right, but she's usually right. Well, so I'm glad we went to see that.
Even Meryl Streep, what can you say about Meryl Streep? She is, for a woman to take her name out of contention for a Best Actor award in her field.
When did she do that?
I think it was the last time that she was nominated. I mean, look how many times she's been nominated and won. She actually took herself out.
I think she's one away from breaking the record. I'm surprised she took herself out. But
because
she's that good, though. She is that good. Meryl Streep, she's on Murders in the Building now, Only Murders in the Building. And she is amazing in that. It's just, when you see Meryl Streep in something, you know that you're going to go, and whether the movie sucks or not, you're going to enjoy her performance. She's just that good.
Yes.
She's just that good. All right, number 8 on our list of best movies based on a book, we have Hidden Figures from 2016. Now, I have Hidden Figures sitting on my bookshelf. Got it at the thrift store. Haven't read it yet. The movie was amazing.
It was.
It's a great, great movie. Here's the synopsis for this. It's a travesty that Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson, 3 incredible black women, mathematicians who played an essential role in NASA's space race, remain largely unknown for so many years. It is. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know how true the movie is, and I haven't read the book, which is, who knows how true the book is. But if there's any sense of truth to it, they were the backbone. If it wasn't for their math brains, we might not have got there, So if you haven't seen that movie, you need to see that movie. And I can't recommend the book yet because it's still sitting on my shelf, but I will, you know what? I'm going to make a vow right now. I will read that book this year. Mark it down. I'm going to read it. Number 7, best movie based on a book. This is one. The Princess Bride. Rob Reiner's film. I got to tell you the story of Princess Bride. When I was in junior high school, I had a friend, Sue Davis. She was a reader. She's a writer. She still has her own blog. I highly recommend you check it out. She's brilliant and one of the most interesting people I've ever known. She brought me this book, The Princess Bride, and she said, you need to read this. And I'm not going to read a book called The Princess Bride. I'm in junior high school, I'm reading James Bond and what have you. She goes, no, you need to read it. The book was what they call the red letter edition. So, in the movie how the grandpa is reading the story to the kid. Well, in the book, the author is telling you the story because the setup is that he didn't write it. He edited it. Of course, he didn't. He wrote the whole thing. But so every once in a while, it breaks into red type. And that's when you know that the author is talking to you. The rest of it is the story of the book. I just recently reread this too, by the way. It is a amazing book. It is just mind-blowing what a good book it is. And I fell in love with William Goldman at that part. Read everything he ever wrote. Always went out of my way to see movies that he wrote. At one point, he was the highest paid screenwriter in Hollywood. And it just set me on a new track of things. And also, it gave me a new appreciation for that kind of fiction. Then they announced the movie, Rob Reiner, 1987. And I thought, there's no way they can make a movie out of The Princess Bride. And Rob Reiner proved me wrong. With that terrific cast, with that well-written of a screenplay, with everything, that it works perfectly. It's one of those movies that you can watch a million times and not ever get tired of. Let me read you what it says here. The Princess Bride is a cult classic. The beautiful Buttercup, betrothed against her will to the repellent Prince Humperdinck, is kidnapped by bumbling outlaws only to be rescued by her former farmhand and one true love, Wesley. It's ridiculous, it's hilarious, it's over the top, it's very touching, and it's another one of the truly great books made into movies. The book was from 1973. The film didn't come out till 14 years later. If you haven't read or seen The Princess Bride, go do that this week. You'll be so glad you did. It's a legendary movie for a reason. Now, I know you've seen the movie.
Oh, yeah. Have not read the book.
The red letter edition is no longer available because it's expensive to print a book in 2 colors, the print. So now they have an italic version. So it still works, but it doesn't work as well.
Explain again why you said it has red lettering. Why does it have
when the red lettering is there, it's the author talking to you.
Okay.
When it's black lettering, they're telling the story of the book. So, yeah. Amazing.
So probably
amazing
the only
book.
way I'm going to find if I want to spend all kinds of money for it, or if I happen to find one in a thrift store.
I haven't been able to find it at all. I tried to order a red letter copy because I wanted to reread it, like I said I did earlier this year. I couldn't find one. I couldn't even find one. Now I know I've still got that book out in my garage somewhere, and I need to go dig that up because I want to have that. But I couldn't even find a red letter edition on eBay.
Oh, the cast was fantastic.
Cast was amazing. Billy Crystal and all those other people. Andre the Giant. Another one. William Goldman said he wrote that part for Andre the Giant. And when they called Andre the Giant, he said, I'm not an actor. I can't do that. And they begged him to come on and do the movie. And now the people who were involved with the movie said, you know what? There's nobody else who could have played that part. Yeah. There's nobody else who could have played Fezzik as well as Andre the Giant did.
And the sword fighting, between the two main protagonists, Mandy Patinkin as Inigo Montoya.
John is looking at the screen
yes,
now.
Yes, I am, because I couldn't remember what his name was.
Yeah, because I wanted to go through the cast, because it's Carrie Elways as Wesley. We got Robin Wright as Buttercup. Billy Crystal, as I said, Miracle Max. Mandy Patinkin as Inigo Montoya. My name is Inigo Montoya. Wallace Shawn as Vizzini.
Oh, he was fantastic.
Chris Sarandon as Prince Humperdinck. Fred Savage as the grandson. Christopher Guest as Count Rugen. And, of course...
Exactly.
Why is he not on here? Oh, there he is.
Why is okay?
Andre the Giant, Carol Kane, Peter Falk. That's who I was looking for. That is not Peter Falk in that picture.
No, that is not.
Anyway, I can't suggest this enough.
Oh yeah,
definitely got to read and see The Princess Bride.
That's not the first time where I've been researching something. And they'll show a picture of someone, and that is not that person.
John, I find that hard to believe because everything on the internet is true.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I read that in a book once.
Yeah. All right, okay. Number 6 on our list today, Bridget Jones' Diary. There was several Bridget Jones movies, I believe. I'm sure there's several books as well. The movie's okay. I like the movie just fine. It was. I only saw the first one. Maybe I saw the second one too, but I don't remember it well. I haven't not read the book, so I don't know about these. But those are very entertaining. Another one that Andrea would highly recommend you see. So
I have not read the book, nor have I seen the movie. And Renee Zellweger, I thoroughly enjoy her, but for some reason, I just never got around to seeing this movie.
Bridget Jones' Diary is a 1996 novel loosely based on Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, before it became a classic British romantic comedy film with Renee Zellweger, Hugh Grant, and Colin Firth. So good stuff there from that. Again, I haven't read the book. I would. Number 5 on the list is Thank You for Smoking, a dark satire based on Christopher Buckley's 1994 novel of the same name. I have not read this book. I have not seen this movie by choice, because I have a feeling it's just going to piss me off.
Probably.
Like the OxyContin movies, just piss me off. So I've intentionally avoided these. It's a stupid reason to do so. It's exactly why you should watch these things. But I don't know. I mean, I've heard really good things about this movie. My son thought it was freaking great. And the funny thing is, I think he was smoking at the time he saw the movie. He's not anymore, thank goodness, but he was then. Number 4 on the list, The Color Purple.
Before you go any farther,
I've already gone a lot farther, but go ahead, chime in. Why don't you?
Did you ever smoke cigarettes?
Never.
I take my hat off to you. Well,
don't do it. You're on. Remember, there's cameras now,
because these will come on.
And there's cameras now. You don't want people to see. Yeah,
that's true. But I used to smoke, and I quit cold turkey, 1977.
I can tell you exactly why I never smoked. And this is if somebody tells you that they show you things as a kid doesn't stick with you, they're wrong. At least in my case, we were at a American Indian show that they brought to our grammar school. Okay, that's how long ago this was, to our grammar school, and you would walk around in the cafeteria. They had the cafeteria cleared out, and they had all these American Indian artwork and stuff, and panels and posters and things that you could read about American Indians. And one of the things that I saw was an American Indian holding a tobacco leaf in his hand. The leaf was on fire, and he was breathing the smoke. And I thought to myself, why would you light something on fire and then breathe the smoke? It just didn't sound like a good idea. Now, I don't know what grade I was in. It was probably 5th or 6th probably, but that stuck with me ever since. And so I could never understand, the whole purpose of lighting something on fire and breathing the smoke. The concept was that I couldn't follow it. And that's why I never smoked. I've never smoked. I mean, I've smoked a couple of joints lately, but there's a whole different story there.
Nemo.
I can, one time you screw up and it follows you everywhere.
Yeah, but when I see what's hanging behind you,
That's why it's hanging there. It's another story for another show. The Color Purple is number 4, Steven Spielberg's version of the Alice Walker novel. I will tell you this about that movie. I saw that movie. I fell in love with that movie. It was a great movie. It was a movie that introduced us to Whoopi Goldberg. It was brilliant. Got a lot of flack from people for whatever reasons it was. One guy called it the Song of the South version of The Color Purple. But I'll tell you this, when that movie came out on video cassette, the day it came out, I was working at a welfare office in Oxnard.
I remember that.
And there were probably 7 black people who worked with us in that. And each one of them went to the video store that day and bought a copy of The Color Purple. Now, that doesn't sound so weird today, but I'll tell you this. Do you know how much that VHS of The Color Purple cost when it was released? I'll tell you, $168. But that movie meant so much to them that they went and bought it. So, I don't know. I mean, I love The Color Purple for it. I think it tells a good story and exposes a lot of things that you think about. The novel, I did try to read the novel, but it's written in dialect, and I had a hard time getting through it, so I can't speak to that. But it was a terrific movie. Didn't win a single Oscar.
Which really surprises me because I did not read the book, but I did see the movie, and I thought it was a fantastic movie. An all-star cast. I mean, Danny Glover.
Yeah.
Glover. Glover.
Glover.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And like you said, Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, that's right. Forgot about that. Yeah.
That's just to name 3 people. I mean, it had an all-star cast.
And the master, Steven Spielberg, behind the camera. That's it was a great movie. Number 3 on our list, we have Little Women. Now,
how little?
That's the thing. How many Little Women movies have there been? I'm thinking 5.
Oh gosh.
The one they're mentioning here is the 2019 movie, which got a lot of good press. I saw it. It was a great movie. Greta Gerwig directed it. Didn't she direct something recently? Greta Gerwig. What was that? Oh yeah, Barbie. It is. The movie is terrific. The movie is really good. It will make you mad. It will inspire you. It'll do all kinds of things to you. I have a copy of the book at home, and I only got the book because, everybody guess, Andrea suggested I read it. So I got a copy of Little Women so I can follow. I can't speak to the book at the moment, but it's a classic. If there's been 5 movies made of it, there's probably something going on.
Oh yeah. Well, the first one, I can't remember who the actresses that were in it, but the first one was I believe it was a black and white.
I'm not sure that was the first one. The one you're thinking of. There were so many of them.
Oh, yeah. But it would have been black and white, not color.
See, 1933, 1949, 2019. I'm sure there's some in between.
The first one I saw was either the 33 or the 49.
See who the 33 cast
And it would have
was.
been, I would have seen it on TV.
Katharine Hepburn was in the 1933 version. And let's see who was in the 1949 version. See what I mean? There's just a lot of versions of this movie. And that one was directed by Mervyn LeRoy and starred June Allison and Peter Lawford.
Oh, wow.
So, that's been oft-told, as they say.
I may have seen both of those.
And I can't speak to those. I haven't seen either one of those, but I have seen the 2019 version, and it was really terrific. So that deserves to be on the list here as well. Number 2 on our best movies based on books is Mean Girls. Now, I did not know Mean Girls was based on a book.
I didn't either, and I did not read it, obviously, and I did not see the movie.
Not all books that are movies mirror the book's plot or content. Ain't that the truth? That's part of the problem a lot of times. When comedy darling Tina Fey secured the rights to adapt the self-help parenting book Queen Bees and Wannabes, she had no idea how she was going to turn Rosalind Wiseman's advice and insights into a movie. Faye drew upon her own experiences at Upper Darby High School, as well as the book, to write the teen comedy Mean Girls. When naive, homeschooled teenager Katie settles in Illinois and attends a traditional high school for the first time, she struggles to navigate an unfamiliar world of cliques and bullying. Tina Fey, that's all you need to know right there. Tina Fey is absolute genius, comedy genius, and a brilliant writer and performer as well, I would say. So, I don't...
you know what, we may have talked about this last week or the week before.
24 robbers came knocking at our door.
Wait, what?
Never mind.
Tina Fey is or might be replacing the creator of SNL, Saturday Night Live.
I've heard that she might be taking Lauren Michaels' place.
Yeah, she would be a great choice.
I can't think of any better.
Yeah.
All right, so we're here. Number one now. The number one best movie, according to the Uncorked Librarian, that's been based on a book, and that is?
To Kill a Mockingbird. I got to read this book. I got to find the book.
You really should. It's a terrific book. I read it in high school, read it again since then. I want to read it again before I read Comes a Watchman, so I follow the story and what have you. Mm-hmm. But I haven't yet, but I will. But the movie is a honest to God classic.
I tell you what, you read To Kill a Mockingbird, and do you have Comes a Watchman?
I do.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say I would loan you my copy.
Actually bought it twice. Bought a hardcover and then found a paperback, and I prefer to read paperback. So I
myself
got both.
I got to have hardcover.
So anyway, that's the top.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, well, it is, and a great performance by Gregory Peck, and the book is a literary classic. Again, Comes a Watchman. There's a lot of controversy about that. Do some research before you bother reading it. I'm going to read it just because, but it is what it is. So, anyway,
you know what movie I'm surprised is not on that list, and it was
Jaws.
No,
it was based on a book.
It was a Gregory Peck film.
Moby Dick.
No, but yes, that would be. Yeah, no, this is another one. 12 O'Clock High.
Oh, that was based on a book?
Yep. It was based on a novel by Bernie Lay Jr. and Cy Bartlett. And it is about, they drew deeply on their experiences during World War II. It later became a TV show, which obviously Gregory Peck did not reprise his role in it, but they had two main actors. Well, when I say main actors, the first person to play General Savage was, I cannot remember his name. I can see him plain as day. Anyway, it was a fantastic movie, and the TV series was pretty, and I'm going to say it, was pretty damn good.
There was a TV series called 12 O'Clock High, too?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
The book is still available. You can get the original paperback, or one of the original paperback versions, for $249.95 on Amazon.
Ooh, wow.
So try to find that at the thrift store.
What's the one? Oh, the unofficial history of the... Oh, unofficial...
There's other versions. I love this cover here. Mm-hmm. There's a cover of the Gregory... It must have been a Gregory Peck tie-in. Mm-hmm. Was this soldier too daring? Maybe he was. All right, folks, that's it for this week's show. Thank you for listening. Johnny, you got anything left to say?
Yes, don't you want to know what's at our corner
I
theater?
really don't, but...
Well, maybe our audience does.
Yeah, because they're listening from Taiwan, and they might drop by Ventura to see a movie.
Well, you never know. I mean...
Go ahead. The camera's yours.
I'm getting there. I will tell you, this Barbie is still showing there. God, my mind just went... The Nun 2.
I have taped The Nun 1 so I can catch up.
I haven't seen none.
There's two movies, John. 1 and 2. So you haven't seen one.
I haven't seen none of the Nun movies.
There's a joke there, but I won't do it.
No. Okay, Barbie is still showing there. Blue Beetle, which I wouldn't mind seeing that, but I'll wait till it comes on TV.
Better go soon.
This one, I want so much to see this, but I have to see the second one first, and that's Equalizer 3.
Yes.
And I missed Equalizer 2. I'm a huge Denzel Washington fan. So I'm going to have to, hopefully I can find it at Redbox.
I'm surprised you didn't see that, because as much as you like that first one.
I know it. And not only, I was a big fan of the TV show, The Equalizer, and I'm a huge fan of Denzel Washington. In my book, I don't think he can do anything wrong. My favorite movie by him is Man on Fire.
Do you see how talking about the local movie theater turns into a whole series of tributaries for him?
Well, what I miss about our local theater is, yes, I'm happy that they're open 7 days a week again, and they are no longer showing second, third, fourth run movies unless it's a special. Like To Kill a Mockingbird is going to be there coming very soon. Either
Don't
this
go
coming
see it and then tell me
Thursday
you
or
read the
Wednesday.
book.
Yeah, true, but it means you got to read get the book this weekend. But they're doing first run movies now, and their prices are still less than. They're affordable. I mean, you don't have to hawk your firstborn child.
Right.
My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3.
I'd love to see that.
I haven't seen any of those.
They're so great.
The Nun 2, which I said earlier. Sound of Freedom.
Move on.
Okay. Coming soon on Flashback Wednesday. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Oh, good.
And here's what.
Okay, John. Before you go farther, don't go through the entire list.
No.
Do like 4.
Okay. Here's what's opening Wednesday. Expendables 4. Yeah, got to see it.
Yep.
Again, To Kill a Mockingbird is coming this week. And we'll stop with, I got it, Saw X or Saw 10. And then I'm going to skip the second one, the next one, but I do want to, 2 of them I have to tell you about. And
I said 4. You get one of them. Pick one.
I have to do both. And when I say, you'll find out why. And no, it's not Jaws. It's not Jaws Revenge. First one would be Corpse Bride.
That's a good one.
And then Shaun of the Dead.
Also a good one.
So, and I'm not going to go any farther as much as I want to.
Well, you did it all last week. There's no sense in repeating it week after week.
So, go to regencymovies.com. You want to see, or go to Buenaventura 6 on your Google search, and you'll be able to pull up the movies that are showing at the Buenaventura Sixplex Regency Theater.
Check it out. It's one of our favorite theaters. That's it for this week, folks. As always, check out The Grape, located in Ventura. They got some big names coming up. Jeff Lorber Group's going to be there. And then part of the band that was with Derek Sherinian is going to be playing there live. The Project. Prog Rock and Roll Project is the name of it. So
And
good stuff there.
I have to throw this in.
You always do.
Sunday morning, hopefully it's not going to be raining. Who knows about our weather lately. Harbor Cove Cafe for breakfast. It's a great place.
Okay. Thanks
Check
for
it
throwing
out.
that in.
Oh, you're welcome.
We'll see you next week, folks. Have a good one.
Oh, and like he said, have a good one.
Brought to you by The Great, Ventura County's premier jazz venue and cocktail lounge. Located at 2733 East Main Street in Ventura. For menu and music schedules, visit them online at thegrape.club. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.